Can you feel the burn, Donald, as you and Elon are posting weird memes celebrating your executive order directing the Department of Education to shut down, as you are picking on veterans and poor kids and people with disabilities? And by the way, your meme spells the word department wrong that Elon Musk is blasting out on his right-wing social media platform. You know what's taking hold across the country? The Fight the Oligarchy tour being led by Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders and AOC, well, they're filling up stadiums, Donald, bigger than the crowd sizes you were able to draw during your campaign. And we are not even in election season in March of 2025. This is what Tempe, Arizona looked like yesterday when AOC and Bernie Sanders were giving their Fight the Oligarchy tour speech. This is what it looked like when AOC called Bernie Sanders to the stage. Just watch this, Donald. Let me show you what a real crowd size looks like. Let's play it. Because you see, Donald, the people are pissed. And when you're posting memes like this with Elon Musk and you spell department wrong and you're bragging about how you're stealing lunches from kids, how you're picking on children with disabilities, how you are attacking poor kids, how you are attacking veterans, how Elon Musk is calling Social Security a Ponzi scheme, how you are saying that Medicaid is so riddled with fraud. By the way, Rick Scott of Florida, the senator of Florida, was involved in the biggest Medicaid fraud scam in history. That's how he made his money. And now you're trying to gut Medicaid. Let me show you what the world thinks about you, Donald. This is a bus stop outside of the American Embassy in London right here. They're literally shredding you, Donald. And now you're so unpopular across the world that if people are running for office, they have to show how much you hate them for them to try to win. Now, you're the most unpopular figure, I guess, everywhere other than, Russia and North Korea? Because Kim Jong-un and Putin are your daddy, Donald? Is that what's up? Is that what's up? Now we have headlines like this in the United States. CNN. So what is stagflation anyway? And why is it so scary? Business Insider. Stagflation can be worse than a recession. Investors are already bracing for it. Great, Donald. We're about 63 days in, and now you have investors bracing for stagflation, which means a crashing GDP, contraction GDP, and it means rising inflation. It's the worst of all worlds, stagflation. Great job, Donald. You turned a Goldilocks economy handed to you by former President Biden, something the Wall Street Journal called the envy of the world, and you threw it into the toilet the same way you bankrupted all your other businesses, Donald. So utterly, utterly pathetic. And by the way, Donald, remember you said that you and Putin had a great conversation this week. You had a great conversation. Remember you said that Putin agreed to have a ceasefire regarding energy infrastructure. And then Putin shortly thereafter started striking energy infrastructure in Ukraine. Well, this is what's been going down, Donald, in the past 24 hours. Russia, with the help of the Shahed drones, given to it by Iran, just launched probably one of the biggest air attacks of the entire unlawful invasion of Ukraine in Odessa. This is Putin giving you and giving the rest of the world and NATO and Ukraine, of course, the middle finger, because he has zero respect for you, Donald. Literally zero. And you promised, you said on day one, you said there was going to be peace. You said you and Putin had such a strong relationship and that you would be able to get Zelensky to agree to a deal. You've made things worse like you always have your entire life, you fool. That's the only thing that you know how to do, is to make things absolutely worse. And just the visuals you created when you gutted the Department of Education, when you signed the executive order picking on kids, you Kim Jong-un wannabe. This is the image that Donald Trump projected. He created a fake classroom in the White House and used kids as props as he signed the executive order, stealing away the future of these kids. Shame on the parents who put these kids in there and made these children props. Shame on Donald Trump. Shame on everybody who's associated with this disgusting filth. Play this clip.
Should I do this? Do it?
And here was Donald Trump announcing that he was going to abolish the Department of Education, which, by the way, he doesn't have the statutory authority. It was created by a law, by Congress. So Congress would need to pass a law to abolish it. But with these spineless Republicans who just have been posting photos of themselves all day, either driving Teslas or saying that people need to buy Tesla stock, or posting photos with themselves reading Donald Trump's Art of the Deal, it's beyond stupid what's going on with these MAGA Republicans. Here's what Donald Trump said. Play it.
But I believe we'll get it done. Today we take a very historic action that was 45 years in the making. In a few moments, I will sign an executive order to begin eliminating the Federal Department of Education once and for all. And it sounds strange, doesn't it? Department of Education, we're going to eliminate it. And everybody knows it's right. And the Democrats know it's right. And I hope they're going to be voting for it, because ultimately it may come before them. But everybody knows it's right.
Here is Governor Walz of Minnesota being Governor Walz. This is the Governor Walz we should have seen during the campaign. This was the Governor Walz we saw at the beginning of the campaign before, I don't know, consultants told him to chill and to not be himself. I don't know. This was Governor Walz yesterday. Play it.
You know, students like my son who depend on IDEA and individual education plans to make sure that they're treated equally and get the best possible education they can. That's a hallmark of America. I think America's great contribution to the world is our public education system. And of course, Donald Trump doesn't care. And I appreciate you showing that photo, because it's so obscene that he would put a mock classroom. We all know he's never been in one. He wouldn't last for a minute. He's never done it. He's surrounded by people who know nothing about education. And they want to make this about bureaucracy and cutting. This is about children. This is about broadband access in their schools. This is about the research you were talking about, pedagogy, things that we learn. And then it's about the Civil Rights Department at the Department of Education that makes sure that we don't have a situation where a Ruby Bridges is escorted to school with police. And so we're back in an area where we can segregate. And he knows that curriculums and those decisions are made on a local basis, but they muddy the water. So look, just like your previous guest, thanks for having her on, but it's chilling. They don't care about law. They don't care about where the American public's at. And that kind of segues to why I'm getting out there. And there's a reason that these Republican Congress members aren't holding town halls, because this is so unpopular, they can't defend it. But I'm going to make sure that the voices of their constituents are heard.
And yeah, here are the MAGAs. MAGA Senator John Cornyn, MAGA Congresswoman Virginia Foxx, just bragging about their Teslas. By the way, yesterday, nearly all of the cyber trucks from Tesla have been recalled because Tesla used the wrong glue. Tesla says it will fix the sticky issue, which could cause panels to detach from the trucks while driving, with a new adhesive not prone to environmental embrittlement. Oh, great. It's great to know that this is the individual who is now gutting the FAA and the NIH and the CDC. Because, when it comes to your ugly, stupid Cybertruck, either your fascist mobile or whatever they're calling it now, and this happens, I guess if someone wants to buy this ugly piece of trash, it's on them. But now when we go into airplanes and when we have to travel, by the way, no wonder there's a travel advisory now from the UK, from Germany, from Europe, Charlie Angus, a member of parliament from Canada, gave a speech yesterday saying that Canadians should not go to the United States. He says, if you go to the United States, you can end up in an ICE detention center or even sent to concentration camps in El Salvador, as America no longer provides due process to people. How horrific that's how, but unfortunately accurate, that this is what Donald Trump has turned America into. More on that in a moment. What's Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary saying while all of this is going on? Well, Scott Bessent, who lives in a $22 million pink mansion, a real-life version of Barbie's dollhouse, here's how he views everything. Play the clip.
It's this consultant group who has they're like a boa constrictor, they're like a python. They've got themselves
no pun intended. Yeah. Python language. Yeah. All you coders have them.
It was intended. So
yeah. Okay. Smarty pants. Thanks.
But they've
What's he even talking about? Pythons and constriction. I have what the hell is this guy even talking about here? Lara Trump then goes on Fox and says, all these crazy lefties, they keep saying that my dad-in-law is like best friends with Putin. He's not best friends with Putin. Here, play this clip.
It's pretty amazing to see them getting it given back to them. But this is what happens, Laura, whenever you empower these far left radicals in your party. And that's what's happened over the past several years with the Democrats. They've catered to these people. They've allowed these people, and not just allowed them, but encouraged them to believe all these crazy lies, like Donald Trump's going to put, gay and interracial couples in internment camps if he becomes president, like that he's best friends with Vladimir Putin.
By the way, even Fox had to admit how unpopular Donald Trump gutting the Department of Education is and how unpopular Donald Trump's other policies are. Here, watch this.
Most voters oppose President Trump's efforts to reduce the number of government employees, changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and ranking near the bottom in support. His campaign promised to close the Department of Education. Well, today...
Here's another clip from Fox showing those polls. Let's play it.
Education more expensive. New Fox polls show 92% of Democrats oppose shuttering the department, plus 81% of independents and more than a third of Republicans.
We have started doing this.
Now, one of the things that we've reported on as well is that at least one of the individuals, and I'm sure this is the case with others as well, a Venezuelan migrant who sought asylum in the United States and was here legally, signed up to be here for asylum. He was a professional soccer player in Venezuela who criticized the Maduro regime. So he was a political exile of a brutal dictator in Venezuela. He was in our database because he self-registered himself as part of the asylum process. So he's here lawfully. He had a tattoo for Real Madrid, and there was a photo of him giving an I love you sign with his hands. On that basis, the Trump regime said this individual was part of the Tren de Aragua Venezuelan gang and then put him in a concentration camp in El Salvador. This individual's lawyer said this is not a gang member. He's a soccer coach, a former professional soccer player in Venezuela who's now lost in the concentration camp system in El Salvador. And the Trump regime refuses to provide answers to the Judge Jeb Boasberg, who is the former chief judge of the FISA courts in Washington, D.C. He's now the chief judge in Washington, D.C. He has yesterday issued an order to show cause why the Trump regime should not be held in contempt for its invocation of the Alien Enemies Act and its violation of the court order where the court said, pause it. We need to understand what you're invoking. Give us 14 days before you ship people wherever you're going to ship people. It turns out to concentration camps in El Salvador. And now all the MAGAs are attacking Jeb Boasberg, the Judge Boasberg, and saying, oh, he's just an entry-level judge. Here's a judge who doesn't know what he's doing. No, he's the chief judge in Washington, D.C. And then we have due process in this country. You don't just take people and because you think that their tattoos may or may not be that, you don't just ship them to concentration camps. That's ridiculous. I'm a law and order person who believes that anyone who commits crimes should face the full extent of the law, of our laws in the United States, but they should be given process. They should be presented evidence. There should be evidence presented before people are shipped off. By the way, I don't think they should go to concentration camps at all in general. And why are you sending Venezuelans to El Salvador concentration camps? But you give people process. What you're saying that is this was an enemy combatant, a hybrid warfare gangster. What are you even talking about? And then you go, oh, what you don't want us to get rid of the terrorists? Of course we want to get rid of the terrorists, but follow due process and make sure these people are that before you start killing people, killing their families. What are you doing? Pisses me off. I think people are getting it. I think we can head towards 5 million subscribers here on this YouTube channel. We just hit 6 billion views on YouTube. Let's keep on growing, folks. Let's keep getting the word out to people. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.